And now we come to Stardust Speedway. A lot of people's favorite level for this game. Personally, my favorite level is Palm Tree Panic. Like, I have a lot of big problems with this level. I mean, okay, cheap badnik placement is one. Another thing is that, I mean, sure, it's really fast and fun, and that's how a Sonic level should be. But, two major problems, alright? First of all, you can't tell the background from the foreground. You can't always tell what's a wall, or floor, or ceiling, and what's something that's just in the background that you can't interact with. And second, the collision detection is, well, in the Gems Collection version, and obviously the original version, the collision detection was just awful. And it makes a certain part of the level feel practically impossible to get past if you're playing the game on the Gems Collection version, because the PC remake fixes the collision detection. So this level's a lot better as a result. This level's main gimmick is the tubes. And I love and hate them at the same time because they send you through a maze and it takes a little while to get through them. But at the same time, it's really fast and fun, and you're curled up in a ball while you're in it, and you're making a spin dash sound, so it feels like it fits with Sonic. I don't like the aesthetic of this place at all. It looks like the level is made out of trumpets, even though it's not anything like Music Plant from Sonic Advance 2, which is a level themed around musical instruments. And again, it's another mechanical level. I mean, we've got too many mechanical levels in this game. We've got Quartz Quadrant, and Wacky Workbench, and this, and then the level coming up. I love how fast and fun this is, though. It's great. I think this level is a mixed bag, because it can be confusing to navigate sometimes, but it's also got a lot of fun, fast parts, and it's the best level that's come in a while. It's a huge relief after Wacky Workbench. But I hate those things. Those imitation cannons, because it's so hard to get them to work right. When I first played this game, I didn't really see the appeal, the super appeal out. Like, I mean, I thought, what's the point? It's basically a spin dash that sends you moving towards enemies and you die if you get hit by them. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do here. You're supposed to let it send you up past the first area where you head right, and only then you head right. But you can spend a little bit in the tube maze if you don't know exactly what to do. But it's not nearly as bad as other tube mazes in the franchise. Looking at you, Sonic 2 for Master System. This is the aesthetic that Stardust Speedway should have had from the very beginning. I love the blue color of this level. It's perfect. I prefer the American theme of this area. Like, I think the Bad Future theme perfectly fits this boss fight, the Metal Sonic. Let's talk about this boss fight first. Okay, there's spikes everywhere. Literally everywhere. You're trying to go fast. You're trying to keep on running forwards. But it doesn't feel like a fair race. There's so many slopes everywhere that stop you, and you constantly get stopped by spikes. So the most optimal way to keep going fast is to constantly run and jump like you're playing Sonic 1. Because if you haven't played that game in a long time, the best way to maintain a fast speed in Sonic 1 is to constantly run and jump. And it's here where you really start to notice how long it takes to charge up the super peel out. Because you're under time pressure. So sometimes you can take a long time to charge up the super peel out, and then you get killed by the insta-kill laser following you. And of course you have to win this race or you'll die. It's a good idea to stay on the upper route here. And I like how it rewards precise platforming, but when you're moving ahead so fast, it's really easy to mess it up. I hate this boss. It took me so many tries when I was first playing this game. I despise this boss with every passion of my soul, because the level design is terrible. I think I would have preferred it if it was just a long straight line with a bunch of loops and slopes everywhere. The PC version, the remake that I've showed off, the screen flashes constantly. And I don't understand why they thought it was a good idea having the screen constantly flash. I mean, look at that. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a lightning effect, but it hurts your eyes looking at it. But yeah, when you rescue Amy, she hugs you and then she vanishes. I mean, seriously, where does she go? She's not following you into this level. So, where did she go? And this is Metallic Madness. Easily one of my least favorite levels in the game. Like, I had such a miserable time with Act 2 of this level that to this day I cannot stand the American theme of this level. It is horrible. It is nails on chalkboard to my ears. I mean, it wasn't even that good to begin with, even though its instrumentation is perfect for a mechanical level like this, but there's so many different ways you can get crushed here, and there's so many different ways you can get hurt. And like that thing that knocked me back doesn't look like it should be hurting you. And of course there's no checkpoint directly to the right of that, so you have to jump to the left to get checkpoints because if you just rush ahead. Oh, and look! Appearing blocks. Like it's Mega Man. And then you've got these things straight out of Scrap Brain Zone. Although I kinda like them. Like it's rewarding precise platforming. And then you have to wait for this thing to disappear, because that's fun. And this is great level design. Why is there a spike there? It makes it so unnecessarily difficult to get past that section. Thank goodness you can charge up a super peel out while you're facing slightly up. Act 1 isn't that bad. It's Act 2 where the real nightmare starts to kick in. I vastly prefer the Japanese version of this theme to the American one, because the American one, it literally gives me flashbacks to how horrible this level is. And look at this. You constantly get sent off of the wheels because of the terrible collision detection. That's not really supposed to happen. That's what happens in the PC remake. That's what's supposed to happen. That's good collision detection. Now, normally I don't have a problem with the collision detection of this game. I don't think it ruins the game, like some people say. Like, I still enjoyed Sonic CD even before I played the remake. But still, those wheels are a nightmare, and you're forced to rely on them. Oh, that door's annoying because it keeps on closing. Just keep going right whenever you're in a section, whenever you're in a tube. Don't think that you shouldn't go right. Just keep going right. Just go with your Sonic instincts. And yeah, considering that the futures are a lot harder than the levels themselves usually are, it's probably not a good idea to travel to the future here. Although I don't think time traveling in this horrible nightmare of a level is very easy at all. The Japanese theme of this level is kind of weird though, because it sounds like the Tasmanian devils scatting in it sometimes. I think my favorite theme associated with this level is the past version of this song, because yeah, this gimmick is kind of annoying because it's really slow and just have to constantly jump to the left, and it really drags out this section because it takes forever. And once you're done with it, you have to deal with a bomb, and then you have to be careful because you can't just jump forwards, because look, and because of the camera wasn't high up enough for you to see the fireballs falling down at you, so it feels cheap. And now you're Mini Sonic! Oh, he's so cute. You're basically playing as a continue icon, which is pretty gimmicky. This section is annoying because you don't know that you can jump as high as you can. So I was stuck there for quite a while on my first playthrough because I didn't realize that you could just jump up to that block from where I first jumped. It's almost as if you jump just as high as you normally would, even though you're smaller, which is really unintuitive. But for the most part, it doesn't change your gameplay style at all, so I can understand why they didn't really go back to this. Yeah, it really sucks how there's so much checkpoint starvation in this act. And you gotta be careful here, moving to the right on the conveyor belts, because it's really easy to get crushed there. And don't go to the right there, or you'll have to repeat sections of level all over again. Originally, in early prototypes of the game, the Speed Shoes song was completely different, and so was the theme of the title screen. And the special stage song actually had an extended version of it. I don't know why they didn't just use that. You can actually get through this section a lot faster, slightly faster than normal if you just get really fast about it, but I think I screwed up. I think you can jump out of this section earlier than I did. Oh, thank God the level's over. But it took me a really long time to get past this level when I first played the game. As in, I ran out of lives, and I just used an infinite lives code. I was so angry at this game. Like, I got stuck in Metallic Madness Act 2 in the past because I didn't realize that you had to let go of the directional pad in order for the spring to launch you far enough to beat the level, which is really unintuitive physics. But I love the past theme of Metallic Madness so much that I don't have any grudge against it, despite the horrible time I had with the level itself. The weird thing is that the past themes are identical between the Japanese soundtrack and the American one, because the past themes are hard-coded into the game itself. This section sucks because it's the only place in the entire game where there's a bottomless pit. And it's really good that there are barely any bottomless pits in this game because the level design always encourages you to explore to find all the robot generators. So having bottomless pits in an exploration-based game is a horrible, horrible idea. So no robot generators to find here. It's at least slightly acceptable that there's bottomless pits. But it's still really tense in that section because if you don't land on the spinning platforms... This is the real final boss of the game. I hate this thing. I hate these things so much. Because there's such a tiny amount of time where they're vulnerable. And they shoot a laser directly down below them, and you are forced to attack them from directly below. So you're practically forced to get hit by the laser. And it's very easy for you to lose your rings in this tiny room and not be able to get them back because the idiots who programmed the rings for this game decided to make rings go through walls. Why? I died so many times here, especially in my first playthrough. That's the real final boss of the game. It's like, why? That is such a cheap enemy. Sometimes it flies so high above you that you can barely hit it. The weird thing is that the Japanese version of this game is the only version to have an actual final boss theme. And I love this theme. It's really creepy, but it's perfect for a boss theme, especially with the organ-like music. I think you're supposed to jump into the corners between the squares when there's a lot of squares, and then not jump into the squares at all later on. But this boss fight is surprisingly easy for a final boss, but considering the nightmare that I had to go through with the fireflies beforehand, I'm really glad that it's easy, especially since there's no checkpoint right before this boss. I like this boss quite a bit, even if it does make you wait around a lot. Well, that was the easiest final hit ever. And that's not the only time he's going to be bouncing like a pogo stick towards you. How did Amy get here? She can't do anything like Sonic can. How did she get here without dying? Come to think of it, why did Eggman kidnap her at all? Yeah, so this is Toot Toot Sonic Warrior. And like I said before, the American version plays a slowed down, lame version of Sonic Boom instead. And I've heard people say that the slowed down version of Sonic Boom is the only thing they can find on YouTube, which I kind of doubt, but it would suck if that was true. So Sonic frees Little Planet, which appears over Miracle Lake once a month. Well, there's 1 month of the year where Little Planet appears. Eggman sees that opportunity to take it over. We're never actually shown any hint that there are civilians living on Little Planet, though. The manual says that Amy lives on Little Planet, but... So Sonic rescued Amy from Little Planet, and then Little Planet flies away. So she was never able to get back to her home? I mean, that seems kind of depressing. But considering that she's an orphan, and she was never shown to have... There's no hint in this game that she has any parents. So I guess she didn't really lose much by being stranded outside Little Planet. Whatever, it's kind of confusing. And here's Sonic going through a representation of the game, doing all sorts of things that you wouldn't be able to do in the actual game. He runs around circles, he runs around badniks and makes them explode from confusion. Pretty poorly programmed robots, and running around in circles causes them to explode. This game's soundtrack is pretty well known, partially because it's so fantastic, partially because there's different soundtracks for different versions of the game, and partially because it's CD quality music, which the Genesis did not have. And you'll notice in the, well, not the original version, but the Gems Collection version of the game, that the music fades away and then restarts itself rather awkwardly. Early prototypes of Sonic CD would have loop pieces in the songs that would play inconspicuously while the track ends and reloads. But this was given up on because of time constraints, and it was restored in the remake, although I didn't really notice that. I don't know, there are plenty of things I don't notice. And the weird thing is that, well, a lot of soundtracks have cut songs, right? Well, within the American CD audio tracks, there's actually a cut duplicate of the title theme. I mean, that feels like that wastes code, and there would be more space in the game if they had cut that, you know? So, now to give my final thoughts on the game. What can I say? I mean, for the most part, I really like this game. I mean, I had to have loved this game to have the motivation to play through all of it twice to show off both versions of the game. Oh yeah, and I'm sorry that there was a stop in the footage. This was the last time that I would ever put up with recording with Fraps. I gave up on Fraps after this, because look at all the drop frames. If I record for 2 minutes and 20 seconds, then Fraps throws the hissy fit, and starts dropping a whole bunch of frames. But anyways, I love this game. It's got really fast and fun level design, and I love the soundtrack, and I have a lot more fun playing it than Sonic 2. It doesn't feel nearly as cheap to me. Unfortunately, Wacky Workbench, Metallic Madness, and some of Stardust Speedway kind of makes me feel like the level design falls apart by the end. But I still think it's a great game. And even before the PC remake, it was still a great game. But yeah, when you beat the game in the PC remake, you unlock Tails. So you can play through the game as Tails, which is pretty awesome. I'll be showing that off in an extra video. The next Sonic game I'm going to be tackling is Sonic Chaos for the Master System, and I'll be showing off the version differences for the Game Gear version in an extra video. See you then!